Hello everyone, welcome to the micro lecture on outlining. An outline is the writer's map of the research paper or essay. It shows the order of the main ideas and details. Making a detailed outline before you begin writing is a good way to make sure your ideas come across in a clear and logical order with every piece of information in the right place and nothing forgotten or left out. A good outline will also save your time in the revision process, reducing the possibility that your ideas will need to be rearranged once you've written them. In this session, we are going to learn how to write an outline for your essays or research papers. Before starting to write an outline, you need to have a sense of what you will argue in a paper or essay, that is, planning your outline. Step 1. Choose a topic. Outlines help you organize your thoughts before you start writing, but what is the topic of your writing project? It's alright to pick a broad topic at this point. The process of constructing the outline might help you narrow down your topic to be specific. Let's say you've got an interesting observation that people's educational background may influence many aspects of their life. You want to do research on it, but you are not sure from which perspectives you are going to discuss. It's alright to keep the broad topic as the influence of the educational background on living conditions. You might later narrow it down to a specific condition as you organize the information you have collected. Step 2. Decide on your main goal. What is the purpose of conducting the research? Are you going to compare the living conditions of people with different educational background? Are you going to discuss the importance of early education since they may affect the future life? Are you going to investigate the influence of education on people's health condition? Choose one of these goals along with a specific argument your paper will be about. Suppose you're writing a research paper on the influence of educational background on health. You need to write a thesis statement to structure the paper. Step 3. Gathering supporting materials. Most of these will appear in your final draft, not your outline. However, reviewing your materials will help you plan your paper. Remember to note down the source of the materials. For instance, the page number where you found each piece of information. Step 4. Choose the type of outline. You are almost ready to begin writing. Just choose one of the two outline structures. A topic outline uses short phrases with a few words each. When in doubt, you can start here. For example, employment conditions, employment types, and educational attainment. A sentence outline uses complete sentences. Use this if your essay relies on many details that would take paragraphs or even pages to list. For instance, uneducated employees work in unskilled or low-skilled jobs. This can be a sentence in the outline. Now, you have done the planning and can start drafting the outline. At this point, your notes probably lack much coherent order. Most likely, your ideas are still in the order in which they occur to you. Your notes and possible quotes probably still adhere to the chronology of the sources you've examined. Your goal is to rearrange your ideas, notes, and quotes, the raw material of your paper, into an order that best supports your argument, not the arguments you've read in other people's works. To do this, you need to group your notes into categories and then arrange these categories in a logical order. The first step is generalizing, that is, to look over each individual piece of information that you've written and assign it to a general category. Ask yourself, if I were to put them in a diagram, what would I put it under? If, using the example of educational attainment and health conditions, you can start from several general categories as employment conditions and physical health, employment conditions and mental health. financial worries and stress and health. Write down the resources you've collected under these categories. For example, under the category of conditions of employment and physical health, you may put 3 supporting points. A. Unskilled working environment and working injury. B. Unskilled working environment and poor health care. C. Unskilled working environment and inadequate injury recovery time. Now, examine your category headings. Is there anything that seems repetitive? Do things go together? For example, among the above 3 supporting points, B and C are related to each other and can be combined into one point as unskilled working environment and poor health care and inadequate injury recovery time. Also, keep an eye out for categories that no longer seem to relate to your argument. Individual pieces of information that at first seemed important can begin to appear irrelevant when they were grouped into a general category. For example, educational background and investment strategies, or educational attainment and family background. You should give up these irrelevant points. The next step is ordering, with your notes grouped into generalized categories. The process of ordering them should be easier. To begin with, look at your most general categories. With your thesis in mind, try to find a way that the labels might be arranged in a sentence or two that supports your argument. Let's say your thesis for the paper on educational attainment and health condition is, because of their income deficit and general susceptibility to depression, students who drop out of high school before graduation maintain a higher risk for physical and mental health problems later in life. You have grouped 5 general categories in the previous step. 1. Mutual influence of physical conditions and mental health. 2. Relation between conditions and employment and employees' physical health. 3. Relation between conditions of employment and employees' mental health. 4. Financial worries and stress leading to worse physical health. 5. Poor working conditions for unskilled laborers. To explore the influence of educational attainment on health conditions, you may put poor working conditions for unskilled laborers in the first place as the background for the research. Then you can discuss the relationship between working conditions and the physical and mental health of employees. After that, you present the situation that income deficit and financial worries may lead to more stress and poorer health. In this way, you put the general categories in the logical order. With your most general categories in order, you now must order the smaller categories. To do so, arrange each smaller category into a sentence or two that will support the more general sentence you've just devised. For example, under the category of financial worries and stress leading to worse physical health, you have 2 supporting points as evidence. A. Many high school dropouts face financial problems. B. Financial problems are often correlated with unhealthy lifestyle choices such as unhealthy food choice, abuse of alcohol, chain smoking, or abusive relationships. Then, the third step of outlining is putting it all together. With these sentences, you have essentially constructed an outline for your research paper. The most general ideas, which you organized in your first sentence, constitute the paper's sections. They follow the order in which you placed them in your sentence. The order of the smaller categories within each larger category indicates the order of the paragraphs within each section. Finally, your last set of sentences about your specific notes should show the order of the sentences within each paragraph. An outline for the paper may look like this. Starting from the introduction, you raise the current problem as the hook and the topic. Then you move to the thesis statement of paper. The second part of the paper is background, which comes to provide a more detailed research gap. It covers the historical employment overview, historical healthcare overview, current link between education and employment type. Finally, the research gap is clearly stated. In the body of the paper, 4 main points are presented. Conditions of employment affect employees' physical health. Conditions of employment affect employees' mental health. Physical health and mental health correlate directly with one another. People with more financial worries have more stress and worse physical health. Under each point, there are 2 specific supporting points. For example, under the third main point, physical health and mental health correlate directly with one another. The 2 supporting points are: A. Mental health problems and physical health problems are highly correlated. B. Stress manifests itself in physical form. Conclusion comes in the end. You may restate the thesis by using different language. Students who drop out of high school are at a higher risk for both mental and physical health problems throughout their lives. After that, you go further by pointing out that society needs educational advocates and educators need to be aware of the situation. In the end, you strive for student retention to promote healthy lifestyle and warn students of the risks associated with dropping out of school. Up to now, you have completed the outline of your research paper on the relationship between educational attainment and health conditions. To sum up, in this session, we have learned how to write an outline for an essay or a research paper. Starting from planning, you need to decide on the topic of your paper and narrow it down in the process of deciding the research goal and organizing the materials you have collected, and then form up a thesis statement for the paper. When you start to write an outline for your paper, firstly you decide general categories and then put them in a logical order. Specific supporting evidence and examples should then be put under the general categories in a logical way. By doing this, a well-organized outline can be composed before you start writing your research paper. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time.